This stuff here, Yerushalmi Eruvin in the article Oz for edition. We're on Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph, the fifth line down. Rabbi Zira Rav Dimi de Chaifa b'Shem Shimon Lakish, and that in the Vilna is on Daf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. It is the seventh line from the bottom. Last word on the bottom line is Rabbi, and the first one, next line is Zira. Rabbi Zira, Rabbi Dima de Chaifa, Rabbi Zira, and Rabbi Dima de Chaifa both said b'Shem Rabbi Shimon Lakish, Logov afilo me'er amma. Tzuras Pesach can even be 100 amas high. There's no height limit on Tzuras Pesach, which is in fact what we paskin. It's Mishum Mechitzin, definitely. So it doesn't need to be nicker. It's a wall. Doesn't have to be recognizable. On Rabbeinu, this said other Temalim and Kilaim. No, that's true in terms of Kilaim. It's an interruption between the two species. Avolina Shabbos, but in terms of Shabbos, lo te peh gavoa min akora. The Tzuras Pesach cannot be higher than a korah, and it means up to 20 amos. On Rabbeinu, they said, Amar Rav, I guess. Shmuel says, Amar Rebbe. I'm not sure why it would be Rebbe. So the Yerushalmi brings down a couple other Gersos. One is just Rabbi Yossi generically, and one is Rashba as Rabbi Yosef. The Kilaim, say in Mesechus Kilaim Mesechus Sukkah says Rabbi Yossi Kilaim Kishabbos. The Rashba is Rabbi Yosef, and but the Rashi Civilian Kilaim says Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Zeira. Okay, so fine. So that it's unlikely it's Rebbe. Although the article has Amar Rabbi Yossi Rabbi. He Kilaim he Shabbos. The Kilaim Shabbos are the same halacha. Fine. Al daite the. So again, it should be Rabbi Zira or Rabbi Yossi himself. Ma ben korah, ma ben peah. If they're both only up to 20 amos, what's the difference between korah and what's in peah? The difference between the korah and the difference between Tzuras Pesach. What's the difference? Korah matzelas miruch achas. So korah works on one stage. The korban says korah shani korah matzelas miruch achas mahani afilu miruch achas. It works even on one side. That's why it has to be less than 20. But a peah. Eina matzelas achidei megufefes me'arba ruchosea. And it says the peah eina matzelas akedim mesugeres unless it's closed me'arba ruchosea. Shu kulam nechshon kemuschitzas. They should all be considered mechitzas. Kach afilu gavoa kshera. Therefore, even if it's higher, it's good. Kedim mechitzas mamish, as this case with real mechitzas. The problem is that korah also has to have mechitzas on the other side. It's got to have three other mechitzas. It's a mavli. So the Reb Chaim says that the korah matzelas miruch achas means it only works upwards. In other words, it has to be on top of the walls of a mavli. As it doesn't require side posts. It's a good chap because it makes it work out well, even though it's not pretty hard to get into the Gemara as Pashim Shah, but korah it says achas means it only is on top without side posts. That's why it can only be up to 20 amos, as opposed to a peah, which has the side post, has the kind of mikan, so therefore works for even more than 20 amos because it's megufefes. It's on all sides. So the Arba Choseh, I'm not sure exactly what to do with. Reb Chaim writes is nimtza megufefes me'Arba Choseh. So it comes out that it is. It's as if it's sealed four sides because this fourth side is as if it's sealed. That's what we have to learn. In other words, by korah, that fourth side is not fully sealed. So it's not nimtza megufefes and Arba Choseh. It's only megufef of 3 ruchos. So therefore, it's going to be up to 20 amos. But since the Tzuras Pesach has a kohen mikan and the kohen gabeim, so the name says megufefes and Arba Choseh, so it's completely sealed off on this side. So therefore, it doesn't have to be. It can be even above 20 amos. Okay, it's nice. V'sai kaidem ma Rabbi Zira b'shem Rabbi Nuna. It goes to Rabbi Zira saying Rabbi Nuna paying him matzelas, which would work out well with that girsa the Rashi Civilian that this is Rabbi Zira's statement here. Rabbi Yossi named Rabbi Zira. Kaidem ma Rabbi Zira b'shem Rabbi Nuna paying him matzelas achim megufefes Arba Choseh. Paying doesn't work unless it's megufa from all four sides, meaning that it has It has those three walls, and this four, according to Reb Chaim, has the three walls, and this fourth wall, which also is considered to be sealed off, so therefore it's sealed on all four sides. Okay. Amrei Babar Memel, Tatrafilio Shebekramim, also Taltal Tachteim, Neshem Sof Tikra. So the commentator changed the gear, so he says, Tatrafilio Shebekrachim. Not Bekrachim, but Bekrachim in big cities. Okay, and Besukkah Kuber Kama. Veneer Dachi Berusha, Shehem, Ain Koros, these are like boards Hayotzi Men Binyaim Gedolim, which come out from large buildings. Munachim Arba Mudim, and they rest on four pillars. Only if they have bias, which stand in front of a house. And he says, going this also the top of the thing can't carry underneath him. Nesha Ain Sof Tikra. They're considered to be the end of the ceiling of the house. Vein Sof Tikra Matzishum Peh, and the Sof Tikra, the end of the ceiling, the roof of the house. And the end of the house doesn't work on account of a Tzuras HaPesach. So they're not considered to be a Mechitza, they're not Tzuras HaPesach. They're just like an awning, and that awning, even though they might have pillars, posts underneath it, it's not as if it's just a Pesach. I'm not sure how the post configured with the awning, but perhaps there was no rim on the roof of the awning. If there's a rim on the roof of the awning, so we understand that rim can be a Tzuras Pesach. So perhaps that rim would have been considered, according to Yerushalmi, Chzuki Tikra, only to support the ceiling. Perhaps Chzuki Tikra, according to Yerushalmi, you would not say they can make a Tzuras Pesach from something which is just like a support beam of the roof. So it's not clear from the Yerushalmi why it's not good, but it's not good. The Reb Chaim leaves the Girsa as is, and he says it's like a roof on which you put. In other words, it says Tachpil Sherbik Krami, and it's a roof on which you put the grapevines. So evidently that's like a vow for a Pesach, because it's a Sof Tikra. And again, it sounds like there's no assuming there's no rim there, makes perhaps it's more clear, because it's just the end of the ceiling, not a distinct feature, and therefore it's no good. It can't make it Tzuras Pesach. Amar Pinchas says, Asa Uda Kum Rabbi Yirmiyah, a case came from Yirmiyah, Ba'arba Mudim, with four pillars, Arba Patstalios, and on top of them are four beams. The so the Girsa Pastelios, but I'm not sure it makes a difference. There's a very wild shot in the Carbon 8. He says that Arba Tzuras Hem Gvilim Shekasv Aleim Igeres Veim Gedolos Veim Asim Chazek. I don't know, some sort of scrolls. But most of the Farshim words say about some beams. I guess it wasn't. They weren't necessarily put there deliberately as a Kodesh HaKabeim, but it was there, once they're there, the Tzuras Pesach doesn't have to be put as the purpose of Tzuras Pesach. Therefore, it was okay. Rabbi Boon, Chaim changes to next one to from Rabbi Boon to Rabbanan. So it should be Rabbi Boon Rabbi Boon. It's Rabbi Boon Rabbanan. In any event, Rabbi Boon Rabbanan Boon Kum Rabbi Zira Peil Mao Shetatza B'Sukkah. The Tzuras Pesach doesn't work by Sukkah. So the Armalon said Pei Matzelos B'Sukkah. Yeah, he says the Tzuras Pesach works by Sukkah. Can be about mechitza. Okay, so he said, sof schach mal shatsa b'sukkah. What about the edge of the schach? We said before sof tikra doesn't work, right? So what about sof schach? He said, ain't sof schach matzah b'sukkah. He said the end of the schach does not work by sukkah. Ma ben zeh. What's the difference? So evidently the sof schach, I guess, perhaps is more nikar than the sof tikra. So the what's interesting that the sof schach and Tzuras Pesach. He said zen aselakan, zen aselakan. He says Tzuras Pesach is made to be a wall. This is made to be the end of the schach. So therefore, it's not going to be valid. So it could be he'd argue on Rabbi before it said Arba Munim Arba Patzilios, because it sounds like there were matir even though it wasn't made deliberately for that purpose. Otherwise, what's a chiddush? So here it says that no, it has to be made. It's sort of best made deliberately for a purpose, and therefore sof tikro would not work and sof schach would not work. Again, I'm not sure there was an independent feature here, like a rim of some sort, which. And even still, it's not good, or it's just that's the end of the roof, and that's why it's not good. Not clear. But in any event, sounds from the Psak, one could say this Psak before Sof Tikra and the Psak over Sof Schach are both on Shitas Yerushalmi, that against Rabbi Yirmiyah, that the Tzuras Pesach is made deliberately for the purpose of being Tzuras Pesach, not be the end of something else. So the article of Frax brings down in footnote 23 that the Ramah brings down Mordechai that Sof Schach can serve as Tzuras Pesach. That's or Chaim Tafresh Lamed base, and the Magen Avraham they're asked that from the Yerushalmi here. It says Sof Schach cannot serve as Tzuras Pesach, and the Gemara says the Bavli argues in Yerushalmi. Mordechai Paskins like the Bavli. In this case, also the Bavli argue on Rabbi Bar Memo before. It says there are other answers and they're different farshim. So obviously, either the Bavli Yerushalmi Taka argue. Right, and there's or our in Sof Tikra we hold can serve at least as long as clearly delineated as distinct from the roof, or you would have to say that no, the Bavli, which is matir, is where it is distinctly delineated, and here it's not distinctly delineated. If you wouldn't say that to Bavli and Yerushalmi, you don't want to make it machlokas Bavli and Yerushalmi. So. Ravo said, all this is in terms of Masa Matam. This is in terms of discussion. Horos to paskin laloch lamaisa to build a sukkah in the base of Pesach, also the horos. You can't paskin that way. So, in other words, we can't build you can't use so it's best to build it as a wall in a sukkah. So, Ma'im sukkah kalat amar aser. So if it's a sukkah which is more lenient, it's mitzvah say you can't line to a Pesach. Shabbos the chomer lo koshkein. So Shabbos is chomer. So you certainly should require mechitzah shleim, but not be able to line. Rabun Bachia Bokum Rabbi Zero. Rabun Bachia asked Rabbi Zero, "Man tana pay matzos." Who's the tana says pay so Pesach works? Lo Rabbi Yochanan Nuri is not Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, who said it works by Kilayim and also works by Shabbos. So Kormei brings down the Ilu Omar Elba Rice and Pei Avla Shabbos Mani. Mike Madi and Shabbos ain't a Matir, Kilayim Matir. So why you made your Kav Chomer just now said by Sukkah doesn't work Koshkin Shabbos, but Rabbi Yochanan says it works by both Kilayim and Shabbos. Or that Tana, he says, yeah, that Tana holds that way, but we don't pass that way. So evidently, either holds the Shittas Yochid, or he holds if it's not Shittas Yochid, we're Machmir. So the Shittas Yerushalmi is that Tzuras Pesach does not work unless you have Oimim Rubel parts. If you have Oimim Rubel parts, then Tzuras Pesach works. If not, not. Which actually Shittas Rambam as well. Shittas Rambam said Tzuras Pesach only works up to 10 amos unless you have Oimim Rubel parts. If you have Oimim Rubel parts, then the rest, the most of the perimeter is wall. So then a minority of the perimeter can be Tzuras Pesach even more than 10 amos. But if it's most of the perimeter is open space, and they're using just or primarily just Pesach, then there has to be no more than 10 amos each Tzuras Pesach. So it seems that that's the Shia Shem as well. It's not exactly the same thing with Sukkah. By Sukkah, it doesn't work at all at Tzuras Pesach, but. Perhaps it is the same that also, maybe that's not true. I take that back. Maybe I still also. She does is that specifically where a sukkah based on Tzuras Pesach with Paratz Mubel Aymin, it's not going to work. So by sukkah and Paratz and by Shabbos, Paratz Mubel Aymin is not going to work. And you have to have Aymin Mubel Paratz. Then Tzuras Pesach can work in conjunction with Aymin Merubah. So, but by Kilayim, it seems we're more Mako. Again, the question would be what's in Kilayim and Shabbos. If you hold that Rabbi Yochanan, like Rabbi Yochanan, you can be Mako by Kilayim, and you hold that way La Halacha, so Yerushalmi doesn't really get into it. I guess the difference would be that they felt that on Sukkah and Shabbos need to have more Mechitzas Nikaros because of the the nature of those halachas, supposed to kilayim, perhaps because it's an open field. I'm not sure exactly why, but in any event, the Yerushalmi doesn't say explicitly that kilayim were machmir. It says it by sukkah and by Shabbos were machmir. Okay, halacha yud. Mekim kanim. You can make the. We mentioned this before. You can make a wall out of sticks. As long as you don't have a. As long as you have a gap of 3 tvachim between each stick. The Shara Dibru, they talk about still a caravan, Divi Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda says normally the Mechitza, which is Shesiv Erev, which is both vertical and horizontal components. Chachamim say lo du chachamim b'shayara. Chachamim say no. Chachamim, when they said this, mention the case by caravan, they only mentioned behove, because this is a this is the normally the case that comes up. But Eichanami, you can have mechitza based on sticks, but less than 12 apart anywhere. So again, this this was to be the sheet of his father. He has to have shesi ve'erev. Only one of two, either shesi or erev. You don't need both. There are 4 halachas which they exempted by an encampment. That they this is a specific encampment going out to war. You can bring wood from anywhere as fuel. They don't have. There's no issue of gazel. They can even take somebody else's firewood. They're exempt from washing. It says lachil tefila, and as long as they can just cleanse their hands with dirt. Midmai, if they have something where there's a subject of it's mice or not, they can eat it. Based on the assumption Rova Me'ar, it's meiser mem, right? This is to rely on that ikra din. Then most Americans take a meiser umil arif, and they don't have to make erev chatzeros. They can make, they put up this fence made out of whatever they made it. They don't have to make the erev chatzeros with the bread in order to bring them all together and unify them. The Mepharshim say it's a case where they're like 2 machanos adjacent to each other. There's an opening between the 2 of them, so nobody have to make an erev chatzeros between those 2 machanos. By machne going to war, they don't have to. Okay, says the Gemara. So the Korban Eidah wants to change the gears a bit here. Reb Chaim doesn't change it. Trying to initially not change it. So you can use sticks specifically by a shayara Rabbi Yehuda. But an individual, like we said in the end, the Mishnah Rabbi Yehuda says requires shesiv erev, right? It requires to have the vertical and horizontal components of the wall. For Rabbi Yehuda, ma'ishlam and yachid l'shayara. So Rabbi Yehuda, what's the difference between a yachid and a shayara? That by yachid we require shesi ve'erev, and whereas by shayara we don't require shesi ve'erev. Why do we make the difference? Why do we make the difference? More never directly responds to this. Could be that someone leads you by shora. More goes on to ask the flip side of this question. Rabbanan. So what about Rabbanan? Lo mishani ben yachid. There are no distinctions going down between the yachid and shayara, or are there some distinctions? So the Gemara says there are distinctions. Shmini me'adad. So not from here. Shayara shechansa betel. A shayara which were camped in a tel. A tel is a mound. Shigavara sara, which is more than 10 tefachim high above the ground. Beneka, or in a depression. Shomakasar, which is more than 10 tefachim below the ground. Or begina, in a garden. Shimuka kev is gader, which is surrounded by a fence. And as Reb Chaim points out, the fence is hukfa lagina of lo shem dira. And it's a din, it has a love of karpa shluka fladira. We now carry more than base of a sign, right? Like we're going to see in the second parak. So it's all these cases. Metautlin, the Here the Korban changed the gear, so from Taliban feel crime, Taliban based on sign. The client is not changed gear, so he changed the Korban changed it to Metali Makula Bavachli Shar based to a sign punnery. So the Shayara gets to carry all of it as long as it doesn't leave a base of sign empty. Okay, and it brings down punish so a yachid who's chayna, he only gets to have a base or sign, not more base or sign. Here they get to the shayara, which is chayna, in the place where there's not, they didn't make a wall specifically for purpose of dira. I should make that clear. Yachid is chayna in a place where there's no, it doesn't make his own wall, but he's using natural features. He only gets up to base or sign. The shayara, which is chayna in this place where they don't make no wall, the only natural features, again, I should have added, or gino, which is not mukaf ladira. So they get as much as they need, as long as they don't leave a base hasayim open. There's ubach shar b'bis hasayim. Pony. Rabbi Yaakov Sheikhir said, they can fill up that empty space with the saddles and with pillows, but they can't leave a base hasayim pony. But then, when the only base hasayim pony, they give them as much as they need, even base korban, even base korayim. The Yochi, as we said, only gets a base of sign. Milsa, the Rabbi Huna, Uvad Adam. It has to be a Tashmish Adam. It has to be something which is for the purpose, in order for them to use the additional area, it has to be something which serves for human being, not just serves for an animal or for the kalim. So the, and I guess, I'm not. But I'm saying ukvos and avitim are not sufficient. There has to be some sort of human usage there. So, and what's Milsa Reb Chuna? The Mare Babashem Reb Chuna, not by a shura, by an individual. Echad or Shnaim Nislan Beis Hasaim. The one or two people are given a Beis Hasaim. Sholosh Nislan Beis Sheish Hasaim. You have three people, each one get a Beis Hasaim. And we can be cheshbon. And then of course it's according to cheshbon, but it has to be for human usage. Adam, right? We go by the number of people. No, how many behemoths came have, it doesn't help out. Okay, so ein shayara pachas mishleishon. Mekarim has to have a minimum of 3 people, and evidently they have to be Shomer Shabbos. Ein akum mashlim b'shayara. A non-Jew doesn't count as a member of the shayara. Katan maushi ashim b'shayara. What about a katan? Does a katan work out, help out to make out the caravan 3 or not? And where it doesn't resolve the question, leaves it dangling, goes on to another issue, and we're already on the next Amud, so we'll stop here for today.